I arranged every detail of Jonah's birthday with care, like placing pillows around a child about to fall. 10 years, 10 soft candles, allergy-free treats, homemade cake, a small backyard gathering beneath string lights and birdsong. Just us, the safe ones. Adrian insisted. It's the right thing, Mara. She's still your mother. And so I allowed it. Against every instinct, I let the wolves walk through the garden. Celine arrived 30 minutes late, cloaked in lavender perfume and a smile too smooth to trust. Her hair was perfect, her heels silent on the stone path. She handed Jonah a large gift wrapped in gold ribbon and looked straight at me. You didn't have to, Mother, I said. Oh, nonsense. It's tradition, she replied, brushing invisible dust from her tailored jacket. Cole and Verena hovered close. Verena's words cut beneath her compliment. You finally learned to host, Mara. I smiled through tight teeth, memories rushing back. The sting of herbs on my scalp, my skin breaking out in welts when I was 8. Celine had called it a healing crisis. I never told anyone. The gift sat unopened on the table until cake had been served and Jonah's little friends had left. Just family now, whatever that meant. Jonah tugged at the ribbon eagerly. Can I open it, Mom? I hesitated. Just a moment. Go ahead, baby. Inside, a handcrafted set of herbal wellness products, lotions, eye cream, a bottle of shimmering body oil. Everything smelled faintly of almonds. Celine beamed. All natural, darling. Just like nature intended. Jonah dabbed the cream beneath his eyes and rubbed some on his arms. I didn't stop him. Not in time. He screamed, Mom, my eyes. It burns. He stumbled back, clawing at his face. His skin bloomed red and raw. I knocked over a chair, racing to him. Grabbed napkins, water, anything. Adrian was shouting for the phone. Call 911. Everyone stood frozen, except Celine. She remained seated, legs crossed, sipping wine. He'll toughen up. Children react. It's how they learn. At the ER, they confirmed a severe allergic reaction. Chemical burns to both corneas. Jonah cried until they sedated him. I sat by the bed, staring at that cursed bottle, the almond scent like poison in my lungs. The next morning, I found it. Back home, I opened the gift box again, hoping it had all been a dream. Tucked inside, beneath the shredded paper, was a folded note. Test subject's response. A mild sting is natural. Repeat application for desensitization. Test subject. My breath caught. My hands trembled as I took photos, every angle, time-stamped. I labeled everything like a crime scene. Adrian tried to explain it away. Maybe it's just weird wording. She probably didn't mean. She meant it, I said. I knew her language too well. A text from Verena blinked onto my phone. Kids are sensitive. Don't blow this up. I stared at the screen. If it was about nature, why hide the note? They called a family meeting. At Celine's house, of course. Her stage, her audience. She played the concerned grandmother, clasping her pearls, sighing about Mara's temper. You've always been dramatic, Verena said. Honestly, you passed that weakness on to Jonah. Cole nodded. He's recovering. No need to drag our name through the mud. Their unity was more painful than their words. I kept my voice calm. Weakness is staying silent while harm repeats. They looked through me like I wasn't even there. That night, Elias texted, I think she did something like this to me once. Can we talk? We met at the park where no ears could reach us. He fidgeted with his keys, eyes darting. I was 8. She said it was to help my immunity. Gave me oil shots. I ended up in the hospital, puking for 2 days. She told Dad it was a virus. I listened, barely breathing. It felt wrong, but I didn't. I didn't want to believe she'd hurt us. I recorded every word. I had to. He paused. Are you going to go after her? I'm going to protect Jonah. And you. However I have to. He nodded slowly. Then I'll help. I'm tired of pretending. That night, I sat by Jonah's hospital bed. Machines hummed. His chest rose and fell. I touched his hair and whispered, "This ends with me." The attic smelled like mildew and regret. Adrian and I were sorting through old boxes in my late father's home when I found them. For leather-bound journals stacked beneath a faded quilt. No labels, just years scrawled in pen across the covers. 1997, 2003, 2008, 2015. They were Celine's. I sat cross-legged on the wooden floor, dust clinging to my palms as I opened the first one. Pages of cursive flooded my vision. Notes, dates, symptoms. She hadn't just believed in natural healing. She had documented it like a scientist or a cult leader. Adrian flipped a page and read aloud, "Controlled exposure to allergens can reshape immunity. Children recover stronger." Another entry, "Discomfort equals growth. Resistance builds character. Mothers must endure their children's cries in service of their future strength." I felt bile rise. Jonah wasn't the first, not the only one. And suddenly my childhood fevers, my mysterious rashes, the cleansing teas, they weren't benign memories. They were procedures. What if the person who raised you wasn't nurturing you, but experimenting on you? I took the journals home, photographed every page, cataloged them by date, and then I went to her. She was tending her garden when I arrived. Lavender and sage lined the path like soldiers. She didn't look up. "I found your notes," I said, holding the journal out like a blade. "The cream, the instructions, the testing." She turned slowly. No surprise in her eyes. Just calculation. "You're raising a porcelain doll," she said. "I did what you couldn't, make him strong." Her tone was steady. Calm. She wasn't ruffled, she was resolved. "You think I'm cruel because I refuse to coddle, but one day Jonah will thank me." I stepped closer. "If you ever come near him again—" "You'll what?" she interrupted, her smile sharp. "See your own mother? Drag your family name through the press." Behind me, Adrian stood frozen. His silence was louder than anything she said. And that's when I knew the truth wouldn't be enough. I needed proof, and I needed allies. But the next day I got a call. A police officer wanted clarification about an email I had supposedly sent weeks earlier, giving written consent for Celine to administer holistic treatment to Jonah. They had a printed copy. It had my name, my signature, a timestamp from 2 weeks before the birthday. Adrian looked at me, eyes wide. "Did you?" "No," I whispered. "I swear on everything, I never wrote that." He didn't speak again that night. My hands shook as I opened my laptop and forwarded the email to someone I knew could help. Lucas Meredith, a legal podcaster who'd once covered a similar medical malpractice case involving essential oils. He met me in his office the next morning. "This is forged," he said after examining the metadata. "The formatting's wrong. Signatures lifted from a public HOA file. You're not crazy, you're being framed." I nodded slowly. "She's good. She's always been good." "Then we'll be better," he replied. But before we could move forward, we were hit again. "Elias, He'd been subpoenaed, called to give a statement, and instead of truth, he folded. On the live stream of the hearing, he said, "Maybe Mara misunderstood. Mom isn't that calculated. She's just old-fashioned." My heart didn't break. It imploded. Adrian squeezed my hand, but I couldn't look at him. Later, I met Elias behind the courthouse. His shoulders sagged, eyes bloodshot. They said they'd cut off my tuition, my apartment. I panicked. "I'm sorry. I'm a coward." I didn't scream. I didn't cry. "You're not the coward," I said. "I was for trusting you again." And I left. Because sometimes survival means walking away from someone you still love. That night, Lucas called. "Come on the podcast," he said. "Tell them everything." I hesitated. My voice wasn't trained. My past was messy. My heart was raw. But I said yes. On air, I spoke slowly. I told them about the birthday, the cream, the journals, the lies. My voice trembled at first, but then it steadied. "Silence isn't strength," I said, "and pain isn't proof of love." The episode aired that night. Comments flooded in. That was my mother, too. My daughter needed to hear this. I thought I was alone. Adrian watched the episode alone in the living room, tears in his eyes. "She's not broken," he whispered. "She's fire." Then a clip surfaced. Celine, on video, saying to a neighbor, "They'll thank me one day. They always do." And just like that, the tide turned. But deep down, I knew the truth was out. The war had just begun. The courtroom was cold, despite the July sun baking the windows. Rows of stiff-backed benches held reporters, neighbors, estranged family members. I saw Verena in a sharp navy suit, lips pursed like she was attending a funeral that inconvenienced her. Elias wouldn't meet my eyes. Cole tapped endlessly at his phone. Detective Caldwell stepped forward with a box of evidence. She placed it on the table, carefully removing the journals, now sealed in evidence bags. Then the podcast clip, my voice hesitant but resolute, played on the speakers. The words echoed louder than I remembered. "Silence isn't strength, and pain isn't proof of love." Gasps floated when the final exhibit played, a cassette tape crackling with age. My father's voice calm, Celine sharper, then my own, young, afraid, pleading. "It burns, Mama." Her voice steely. "We build strength through discomfort." I pressed my palm to my chest. Adrian squeezed my hand. I stood. The judge nodded. "My mother told me once," I began, voice wavering, "that love required endurance. That pain was temporary and weakness was a failure to adapt. I believed her for far too long. But love isn't meant to prove a theory. It's meant to protect." Across the aisle, Celine's mouth tightened, but she said nothing. Yet, then she rose. "Your Honor," her voice clear, cutting, "I need to speak." There was a murmur. The judge nodded reluctantly. "I saved lives," she began, her posture ramrod straight. "You all look at me with disgust, but I did what weak mothers couldn't. I made mine stronger." She turned to me. "Your daughter died because you let her believe she was fragile." Confusion swept through the room. Her eyes glistened. "My first child. She died at 6. Prescribed meds. Epinephrine. A mistake. The doctor said it was routine. But her body failed her. She died believing help would come." Her voice cracked. "I swore it wouldn't happen again." Tears streaked her cheeks. "So, I made sure you would never rely on rescue." Then she sat, like the storm had passed through her. No one spoke for several moments. The defense requested a psychological evaluation. The judge agreed, then asked me, "Would you like to make a statement before sentencing?" I walked forward. My knees trembled, but I stood tall. "I don't want your apology," I said, eyes locked on Celine. "I want freedom for me and my son." That silence hit harder than any scream. The judge nodded. 3 years psychiatric incarceration. No contact order with the victim or minor. Verena stood and left. Her heels clacked like gunshots. Cole stayed seated, but never looked up. Elias just stared at the floor. Outside, the sunlight kissed my face. For the first time in months, it didn't feel like a lie. Weeks passed. Jonah laughed more. Adrian smiled again. Then the letter came. It was postmarked from the facility. Her handwriting. "If pain made you stronger, then I succeeded." I folded it once. Then again. Walked outside and struck a match. Ash scattered in the wind. Later that night, Jonah crawled into bed beside me, holding a crumpled drawing. He'd sketched us, me and him, standing hand in hand under a giant sun. In the background, just barely visible, a woman stood in the rain. Her hair was silver, her face blank. I kissed his forehead. "You're safe now." Adrian came in, holding 2 mugs of tea. "I was thinking," he said, "maybe we find a new place. Something smaller, brighter." I nodded. We spent the weekend packing boxes. Jonah filled one with his drawings, placing the latest one on top. As we sealed the final box, thunder rolled in the distance. I stood at the window, watched the clouds split and curl like breath held too long. "We can't choose who we come from," I whispered, "but we can choose who we become." I opened the drawer where the old family album sat, slipped the key in, locked it, turned away.